Okay, so let's see, where are we? Yeah, so we're gonna do a drill now I call around the clock for reasons that will become apparent. All right, so we're gonna insert, all right? So one of the really important skills in needle technique is the ability to be able to, when you insert the needle, sometimes you can't tell if you're exactly where you want to be until you insert the needle and see the response in the patient and feel with your fingers the change in the soft tissue, okay? If you don't feel what you want to feel, it's important to be able to take the needle out. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. No such luck. All right, let me bring this a little closer so maybe you can see. All right, so if you take the needle out just before it comes out of the skin, all right, and you can kind of hear the change, all right? So then from there, you can then change the angle of it, you see? So I'll show you again. So if I insert it here, right, and I say, okay, I want to try a different angle. So I take it, I remove very, very slowly, all right? And you see how the needle's bending a little bit, but not to the point that it loses its shape, all right? And right about here, yeah, it's gonna straighten out and then I can get my new angle, okay? So the first step is gonna be to just practice that, all right? So, and as a way to practice that, and as a way to practice different angles on the needle, okay, I'm gonna have you go like so, all right? So here, and then remove, reposition, and come around this way, remove, reposition, come around this way, and at this point you may need to shift your body, okay? And if the needle comes out, it comes out, that's fine. Just reinsert. Yep. And just explore what you need to do with your fingers to get the angle that you're looking for, okay? And you know, it should be obvious, but it's called around the clock because you're kind of roughly trying to approximate each position on a clock face, all right? So, and notice I'm doing two things as I do this. I'm not losing my post, okay? And I'm maximizing contact area with the surface that I'm needling, okay? So I'm not out here, all right? I see a lot of beginners make this mistake. So we want as much contact as we can get. The more contact we can get, the more feedback we're gonna get from the patient, the more we're gonna be able to tell what's going on with our needle, what's going on with our patient, and the more stability and facility we're gonna have, all right? So another little tip that I have here is, I can say this sounds like a good Chinese paradox here. So I call this bending the needle to straighten the insertion, all right? So if you insert the needle, sometimes you may find that if you're trying to come at a different angle here, if you keep the needle straight, it can bend like so. However, if you put a little bit of tension into it, like right from here, you can slide it underneath like so. So these are just, I'm not expecting you to have these all obviously like perfect nailed right now, you know, otherwise you wouldn't need to take this class. I'm just pointing out these things that you can do, ways that you can manipulate the needle for you to kind of play around with and explore on your own, okay?